Hey everyone, shooting the dogs here. Here's a book I've had for a while. It's called The Lives of a Cell by Lewis Thomas. Notes of a Biology Watcher. Look at that fucking picture though. Pyramid going through the globe. A red pyramid. The primordial soup at the bottom of it, I suppose. Or a plasma event. Whatever. It's fucked up here. Right. It's got 28 chapters in it, but what I'm looking at for is the one on computers. Just give me 2 minutes. Remember, this was written in 1974, right? Even when right, I'm just going to pick at it. Look, sooner or later there will be real human hardware, great wearing clipping cabinets, intelligent enough to read magazines and vote, able to think rings around the rest of us. Well, maybe, but not for a while anyway. Before we begin organising sanctuaries and reservations for our software selves, lest we vanish like the whales, here is a thought to relax with. Even when technology succeeds in manufacturing a machine as big as Texas to do everything we recognise as human, it will still be, at best, a single individual. This amounts to nothing, practically speaking. To match what we can do, there would have to be 3 billion of them and more coming down the assembly line, and I doubt that anyone will put up the money, much less make room. Well, now it's not 3 billion, it's more like 7 or 8 billion, and there is, every fucking one's got 10 of them in the house. So they didn't see it coming, did they, eh? Clever bastards. And I doubt that anyone would put up the money, much less make the room. Even so, they would all have to be wired together intricately and deliberately, as we are communicating with each other, talking incessantly, listening. If they weren't at each other this way, all their waking hours, they wouldn't be anything like human after all. I think we're safe for a long time ahead. No, mate, it's here. It is in our collective behaviour that we are most mysterious. We won't be able to construct machines like ourselves until we've understood this, and we're not even close. All we know is the phenomenon. We spend our time sending messages to each other, talking and trying to listen at the same time, exchanging information. This seems to be our most urgent biological function. It is what we do with our lives. By the time we reach the end, each of us has taken in a staggering store, enough to exhaust any computer, much of it incomprehensible, and we generally manage to put out even more than we take in. Information is our source of energy. We are driven by it. It has become a tremendous enterprise, a kind of energy on its own. All 3 billion of us are being connected by telephones, radios, television sets, airplanes, satellites, harangues on public address systems, newspapers, magazines, leaflets dropped from great heights, words got in edgewise. We are becoming a grid, a circuitry around the earth. If we keep at it, we will become a computer to end all computers, capable of fusing all the thoughts of the world into a Syntian. Already, there are no close two-way conversations. Any word you speak this afternoon will radiate out in all directions around town before tomorrow, out and around the world before Tuesday, accelerating at the speed of light, modulating as it goes, shaping new and unexpected messages, emerging at the end as an enormously funny Hungarian joke, a fluctuation in the money market, a poem, or simply a long pause in somebody's conversation in Brazil. We do a lot of collective thinking, probably more than any other social species. Although it goes on in something like secrecy, we don't acknowledge the gift publicly, and we are not celebrated as the insects, but we do it effortlessly, without giving it a moment's thought. We are capable of changing our language and music, manners, morals, entertainment, even the way we dress, all around the earth in a year's turning. We seem to do this by general agreement, without voting or even polling. We simply think our way along, pass information around, exchange codes, disguised as art, change our minds, transform ourselves. Computers cannot deal with such levels of improbability, and it is just as well. Otherwise, we might be tempted to take over the control of ourselves in order to make long-range plans, and that would surely be the end of us. It would mean that some group or other, marvellously intelligent and superbly informed, undoubtedly guided by a computer, will begin deciding what human society ought to be like, say, over the next 500 years or so, and the rest of us will be persuaded one way or another to go along. The process of social evolution would then grind to a standstill, and we'd be stuck in today's rut for millennia. Much better we work our way out of it on our own, without governance. The future is too interesting and dangerous to be entrusted to any predictable, reliable agency. We need all the fallibility we can get, most of all, we need to preserve the absolute unpredictability and total improbability of our connected minds. That way we can keep open all the options, as we have in the past. It would be nice to have better ways of monitoring what we're up to, so that we could recognise change while it is occurring, instead of waking up, as we do now, to the astonished realisation that the whole century just past wasn't what we thought it was at all. Damn right. Maybe computers can be used to help in this, although I rather doubt it. You can make a simulation model of cities, but what you learn is that they seem to be beyond the reach of intelligent analysis. If you try to use common sense to make predictions, things get more botched up than ever. This is interesting, since the city is the most concentrated aggregation of humans, all exerting whatever influence they can bring to bear. The city seems to have a life of its own. If we cannot understand how this works, we are not likely to get very far with human society at large. Still, you'd think there'd be some way in joining together the great mass of human minds around the earth. Seems to behave like a coherent living system. The trouble is that the flow of information is mostly one way. We are all obsessed by the need to feed information in as fast as we can, but we lack sensing mechanisms for getting anything much back. I will confess that I have no more sense of what goes on in the mind of mankind than I have for the mind of an ant. Come to think of it, that might be a good place to start. Blah blah blah. Long-range planning and organisation on a national scale are obviously essential. There is nothing unfamiliar about this. Indeed, we've been engaged in coordinating national effort for over 2 decades through the established processes of the National Institutes of Health. Today's question, it's just